Hi everybody, it's me again. I have been working on my tarot project still. I've gotten a lot done, and because of life and all of its lovely happenings, I haven't been able to film like any of it outside of my cups picture that I showed y'all the first video. But I have been working and I've gotten a lot done, and I wanted to just kind of show you all of the drawings that I've done so far. I have a lot more that I've actually drawn and inked, but I have not yet colored. So these are just going to be all of the colored ones that I have so far. So this is the Fool, and it was inspired after me in high school. I kind of modeled her after my high school self, being sort of led into this mystical wood by my spirit animals, snake, butterfly, and spider. Then we have the High Priestess. I wanted to be a lot more daring with this, and then I ended up going really simple with it, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. The Empress. This was not my original idea for her. I'll tell you when I get to the card that I originally had envisioned for her, but it was not earthy enough and motherly enough to really be the Empress, so I had to redesign it all. But I really love how she turned out. This is the Death card, and it does not look like much right now, but on my actual card, I've added sort of a wispy ball that's in between them both, sort of to represent a soul being passed from one to another. Because, as tarot readers know, the Death card is not symbolic of actual death. It's more of a change from one to the other. And I wanted to do it this way because unless you know which way the card is supposed to be, you're not really sure which is changing. Like, one person is changing into something else, whereas that person changing into this. I don't know, the idea in my head just went a lot smoother that way. Because I didn't want it to seem scary or like this character was taking something from her, but more so that it was a positive thing. It was a shared sort of idea that was passing from one to the other in a more positive way than like having your soul taken out, if that makes sense. I'll try to include the original card that I have finished so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. This is Strength. I did go with a tiger instead of a lion because I don't care much for lions, but tigers have always sort of represented strength to me. Here is the Star. The Moon. Whoop, I'm sorry, I keep hitting the camera. And some of these cards as I go will have some additional things in them, line work, that I ultimately took out to put something else digitally in that I felt like fit better. So for example, with the Star card, all of these sort of swirled lines I removed, and I put in some digital kind of actual small stars. I also took out these and changed this up digitally, and I added stars in the background of the Moon card as well. The Sun, I really love how he turned out. Digitally, I added like a little ball of light in his hand that he was looking at to be a little more representative of it. Okay, this is the Devil card. This is the card that I had originally envisioned the Empress to be, because when I think Empress, I kind of get like oriental elegance, like that sort of vibe. But then I started coloring her, And of course, Oriental red, that's just what I go to, especially in royalty. And once I started adding the red, I was like, this is not the Empress. This is very in your face and very bold and Aryan. So I ended up making her the devil instead. And I like her as the devil. I added chains and stuff digitally on the actual card to kind of give more of the devil feel. But I'm overall happy with it because I was really stressed out about what I was going to do for the devil card. And I feel like this is more representative of the devil. Sorry, got cut off. Call. But yeah, this is more representative of the devil in my opinion, or what I feel like the devil would be. Sorry, let me try to fix the camera. This is the World card, and I am so happy with how she came out. And I love her so much. And I know it is not what anybody would envision for the World, but it is perfect to me. So this is actually the first card that I actually drew in the entire deck, before I even really knew that I wanted to start doing this. Because I drew her kind of with the idea that this is the completion of me. If I took all of the different facets of myself and put them into one being, she would be this. So I added all sorts of different hair colors, all sorts of different patterns. Sugar skulls have always been a big thing to me, particularly when it's like a person that has the actual makeup on. Sort of a duality of life and death sort of feeling. Of course, I added crystals, flowers, those are my things. And then the horns are representative of the horned serpent from Choctaw mythology, from a lot of different mythologies, but that one in particular resonates with me the most because the horned serpent is said to kind of be like a spiritual guide almost, a keeper of wisdom in a way. And so when I see the horned serpent, to me it represents kind of a complete wisdom of the world and of the spiritual sense. So incorporating that was something I felt I needed to do. Then all of the eyes, of course. Kind of the idea of being able to see everything, being able to see the big picture, being able to see the little nuances of the world instead of kind of being a narrow-minded person. So I really love how she turned out. I'm really happy with her. Then on to the cups, which is the suit that I actually have completely finished. This is the king. In the cups, you will see that there are hearts in all of them. And the actual numbered portion of the cups, they're a little more discreet, some of them. So you kind of have to look hard, but there is a heart for like the number that it is. So if it's the 3 of cups, there's going to be 3 hearts. So that's the king, the queen, based on my friend Kiana. The knight, all of my knights I have made mythical creatures because when I first thought of the knights, I thought of the chess pieces that look like horses, and so I went the horse route with the cups and water, obviously. So after I realized that I wanted to go the mythical creature route, I didn't just stick to horses. It became open for all mythical creatures. I just took creatures that were sort of symbolic of the element that each suit represented. Page of Cups. Ace you have seen, hopefully. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and yes, this one is a little different than most Six of Cup cards. Usually we get the nice scene with the children and the cups full of flowers passing them, and that imagery just did not resonate with me. Looking at the meaning of the cup, the Six of Cups, I didn't connect to that at all. So I went with this route because the tombstone, sort of the passing on from one to another, memento mori, remembering that you will die, and also of our ancestors, really. And I incorporated the marigolds because Dia de los Muertos, representative of your ancestors. So I like how this worked out because I feel like, for myself at least, the imagery represents the meaning in a clearer way than the original imagery did, for me personally. 7, sorry, 8. This one was actually really hard to do because the idea of leaving something behind, I didn't want to draw a whole person with their back turned, and like I thought about a door closing and the cup sitting there, but ultimately I went with this, like she's dropping the cup, like she's letting go of everything and just kind of letting it be. I like how it turned out. I feel like it might not be as clear as some of the others, but all in all, I'm happy with the design. 9 of Cups. And the 10. So now on to the swords. I have not finished the king yet. I have the line art of him, but he himself is not completely colored. So this is the Queen of Cups. Swords, sorry. Queen of Swords is a card that's also represented by me. So more so me now than the Fool card. Because every time I see the Queen of Swords, it is me. The meanings line up exactly with me, both upside and reversed. The symbolism of the butterfly, as I said, one of my spirit animals. So yeah, of course I had to end up doing her as me. Ace of Swords. Again, the knight is drawn, not colored. I have not done the page yet because I have ideas, but I haven't set on one yet. 2 of Swords. 3 of Swords. In my actual card, I removed the yellow bits. I felt like it kind of took away from the overall design, so I got rid of them when I put it on the actual card back. But it's the basic imagery. 4 of Swords. As you may have noticed already, each one of the suits I've sort of attributed a certain color scheme towards. So the cups are more like the mint greens, the pale pinks, that sort of kind of color scheme. The swords are more like blues and grays. Then we have the rings. This is the Queen of Rings, based on another of my friends. They're going to, of course, have more dark greens, purples, sort of jewel tones. I really love how she turned out. And then we have the Queen of Wands, which, of course, oranges, reds, that sort of thing. So, yep, those are all the ones that I have actually drawn, colored, completed. I have a lot more that I need to get coloring. Hopefully I'll be able to actually record some of that now. And I have a lot more to draw. And the coronavirus is helping me out with my deadline because it's giving me a lot of time to stay at home and work solely on this. So hopefully I will be able to get all of these done. I'll push it back till May, more than likely, and then start production. So yeah, I hope you liked kind of seeing all of the drawings that I've done so far, and I look forward to sharing more with you soon. Bye!